Are you casually scrolling through Zillow at night, trying to keep your finger on the pulse of the market, waiting for your chance to jump on a property? Well, if you're in the Boston area or in any market for that matter right now as a potential home buyer, you could be doing a number of things that are a huge waste of your time. And in this video, I'm going to break down the three main things I'm seeing home buyers do that are not serving them and what to do instead to get ahead of the market. Let's start with the most common time waster I'm seeing buyers fall into right now, and that is sort of this combination of Zillow / open house window shopping I'm seeing a lot of people who are early in their home search getting into. And it does feel productive. Zillow is certainly an easy tool to use. It's free. There's a lot of data there. It's really pretty to look at, but there are some issues with it. The first issue being you're not seeing every property that's available on the market right now. So you're missing hundreds of properties that are not on Zillow, are not on the MLS. This is an actual video screenshot of properties that are active right now that are not available to see on Zillow or on the MLS for that matter. So there are a bunch of properties that you could be missing out there that sellers are actually open to selling, but they are not putting them on the MLS. They're not putting them on Zillow in front of every single buyer. So that's one way that Zillow is potentially hurting you as a home buyer. The second issue with Zillow is that you're just reacting to list prices. You're not really gaining much market insight. So even though it feels like you're developing an understanding of the market, just looking at list prices all day isn't actually giving you a comprehensive understanding on what the market is doing. So you're much more likely to gain accurate insights from a collection of properties that have recently sold that are in the neighborhoods that you're looking in, so you can see how each of them compare to each other. And also having a conversation with someone who's active in the market, a real estate agent who has an open dialogue with the listing agents of these properties, so you can actually understand how many offers they're getting, how busy open houses are, what contingencies were waived, get an idea of what the final sale price is going to be if you can. There's a lot of dialogue that happens between agents that have relationships with each other that I think a lot of people who are entering the market really fail to grasp. The other thing is, speaking of open houses, those open houses can paint a very unclear picture of what is actually going on when it comes time for offers. So if people walk into open houses, see a really busy open house, they think to themselves, okay, this place is going to get 20 offers and go $100,000 over the list price. When in actuality, myself, my team, other agents that we work with have had very busy open houses, and sometimes they end up with only a 2 or 3 week offers that might not even be at the list price. Maybe they're just from investors or people trying to lowball them. So it's really hard to gauge what is going to happen come offer time if you just go to an open house and see that it's busy or see that it's not busy. People can catch a lull during an open house and think that it's okay to offer below list price because it's not a million people there. When in actuality, it really takes a dialogue with the listing agent and a real understanding of the local market to figure out what a strong offer strategy is going to be. So Zillow is a tool. It definitely has its place. It happens to be a tool that has tricked a lot of people because most people don't really understand how they make their money, but I'm not going to get into that in this video. So let's get into the second way home buyers are wasting time right now in this market. So the second biggest time waster right now is people trying to perfectly time the market. So they're asking questions like, should I wait until rates come down? When are rates coming down? Are people still waiving their home inspections? Instead of asking questions like, okay, how are the rates coming down actually going to impact the buyer pool out there and also the purchase prices out there? Are rates coming down going to drive prices up, and I'm not going to be looking at saving much money in my monthly payment if rates do come down, if I'm just paying that much more for the property because buyers are going to start swarming the market because they've all been waiting for rates to come down? And also, instead of asking if people are waiving home inspections, ask how you can get your offer accepted while not waiving a home inspection and still protect yourself and still win a home at the same time. So the truth is you cannot control the market, but you can control how prepared you are for the market. So have your pre-approval squared away. Understand what your list of must-haves versus your list of what would be nice to have in a property. Know what your max budget is. Know what specific towns you're going to be looking in. This is all going to help you prepare yourself to jump on a property when one comes available that's going to be the best fit for you, and you'll be able to move forward confidently. Confidence is so key in buying buying a home, shopping for a home, winning a home, and getting through the transaction smoothly. So the more prepared you are, the more confidently you can move forward and win yourself a home. The third biggest time waster right now I see buyers falling into is obsessing over what they are looking for out there in the market and not why they are looking for it. So the simplest example I can give right now for this is maybe you're looking for a 3-bedroom space because you need 2 bedrooms and an additional space for a home office. Instead of sharing with a real estate agent that you're looking for a 3-bedroom house that has 2 bathrooms and blah, 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 them understanding that you are actually looking for 3 bedrooms because you need 2 bedrooms plus an office space lets them understand that they can actually search for 2 bedrooms with a den or with a finished basement. That's probably the most basic example I can give, but there are so many factors involved in a home search that there are so many opportunities that can be opened up if real estate agents just better understood why their clients are looking for certain things. So make sure you partner with an agent and make sure they're sitting you down and understanding exactly what you're looking for and why you are looking for it. I'm going to give you one more bonus time waster, a mistake I see buyers making out there as they're moving forward with their home search, and that is thinking that they are going to be in better shape by going unrepresented in the market because they think that the seller is going to save money by accepting an offer from an unrepresented buyer because they're not going to have to pay that buyer's agent. That is the most common misconception I see buyers making out there right now. Generally speaking, listing agents are having a conversation with that seller ahead of time. Those listing agents are then going to have to stand in and take on the responsibility of that buyer's agent, set proper expectations for that buyer, and coordinate the transaction moving forward. So they're basically doubling up their workload just about, and therefore are charging those sellers additionally to be compensated for working both sides of the transaction. It also creates a little bit of sort of awkwardness between the listing agent and the seller and the buyer because the buyer's looking for some advice on how to move forward, but the listing agent works for the seller, so they cannot really recommend anything. They cannot provide any guidance to the buyer, which can basically create a little bit of chaos and just a higher likelihood that the transaction falls apart. So just understand that when you're making offers out there, the listing agents aren't just looking for a buyer's agent representing the buyer who's submitting those offers, but they're looking for an experienced buyer's agent who they see as a potentially great transaction partner who's most likely to get this transaction to the closing table. Their job is not to accept the highest offer. Their job is to accept the strongest offer that is most likely to get their client, the seller, to their goals, which is the closing table. With the, generally speaking, it's usually the most amount of money in their pocket with the least likelihood that they're going to run into speed bumps along the transaction. So that's most likely to happen if there is an experienced collaborative buyer's agent on the buyer's side of the transaction. We live in a country where anyone can get their real estate license, and everyone does get their real estate license. You probably have 3 sister-in-laws that all got their real estate license and 45 buddies that have their real estate license and practice on the weekend. They do real estate part-time. They work full-time and do real estate on the side. All of these people are running around with their licenses, submitting offers for buyers once or twice a year. And I cannot tell you how easy it is to spot a rookie or part-time agent by the way that they submit an offer. It happens to me, it happens to our team, it happens to agents that we work with every single day. Listing agents are far more likely to accept an offer that is presented professionally that makes it look like this transaction is going to get to the closing table. That is their fiduciary responsibility to their clients. So make sure you have a firm grasp on that before you just hire any idiot that you met at an open house to be your transaction partner. So guys, what should you do instead of spinning your wheels on Zillow, going to open houses? Well, there is a lot of confusion about what buyer's agents are for. People think that they are there to write offers and open doors, when in actuality, these people are there to help you understand what a great approach to the current market is, help you better understand what's going on out there, better set your expectations moving forward, and develop a clear plan and strategy on how to win a home in this market. Oftentimes when people are selling their homes, they interview several agents to figure out who is going to best market their home, which they absolutely should be doing. Now, in this sort of new buyer's market, where there are a lot of industry guidelines that have changed with regards to commission, how buyers agents are getting paid, it is more important than ever that as a buyer, you treat buyers agents the same way that sellers treat listing agents. You should be interviewing several agents to figure out who is going to have the best strategy, who you're going to connect with the most to help you get to your goals. Interview a few agents and figure out which one is going to treat this like a long-term relationship. You should find someone that's looking to be a resource for you regardless of where you are timeline-wise in the transaction, whether you're a year or two away from your purchase or whether you want to get into a home tomorrow. You should find someone that's going to provide value to you throughout the entire process, during the process, and then after the process. And I'm beyond okay if people do not want to use our team to find and win a home, but if you want to see what our process looks like, I would be absolutely thrilled to sit down with you, have a strategy session, understand what you're looking for, how we generally deliver for people, and how we can deliver for you specifically. And if we're not the right fit for you, totally fine. You can go on your way, no charge, no obligation, and at least you'll have a better understanding of what moving forward through this process might look like. So if you're on Zillow regularly scrolling around, shopping for homes, window shopping, going to open houses, shoot me a text. Let me know what it is you're looking for. I'd love to sit down with you for a few minutes, go over exactly what you are looking for and how we can hopefully help you find it. But in the meantime, hopefully this gave you a better understanding of how not to waste time as a buyer in this market. And thank you guys so much for watching the video. I'll see you on the next one.